But first, we got to start with what I think was the surprise of the week, which was Tennessee taking their second L of the season. Spencer Rattler. I mean, look, the narrative of this guy, his career arc at this point, I don't think anybody could have necessarily predicted this performance, given all we've seen from him. 6 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. And it has to be said on the front end, Hendon Hooker, torn ACL. That's tragic news. You hate to see that. This is a guy who defined this season of college football to me with his play in the front half of the year. So, George, let's just go to you first. Obviously, a shocking result. Does this result mean that the SEC is now locked in to just one team in the college football playoff?
Not at all. Not at all. The SEC came into this weekend, as I think Felder they have in the last couple weekends. These guys got seemingly 3 or 4 different ways to get 2 in. Oh, if we can't get that, we got that. Okay, if he's not in, he's in. He's rolling right there. And if he can't cover that, stand up. He got it right there. They got so many combinations. It's one if Georgia wins out now.
Right.
If LSU beats them, like just even simpler terms, Georgia has a seat. Come win, lose, draw, or whatever happens at LSU, they could really rest their starters, take the loss, and they're still going on in. Maybe not that drastic. But LSU winning, Georgia still goes. Georgia wins, Georgia goes. So LSU could make it a 2-team deal there.
But that's the only way.
Yeah.
That's the only way. And to get to win, that means that Georgia will have to not try against LSU. And I don't think that's going to happen. Am I wrong, Greg?
Well, I think it was you and I, Felder, last week that I like to play my hypothetical games on this show. And I think I posed the question. Them. I know. I don't blame you. You're not the only one. But I think I posed the question of, like, if you're Georgia, isn't it kind of running through the back of your mind that, you know, maybe it wouldn't be so bad to see LSU make the playoff if you know you're in when the alternative was going to be Tennessee? Because prior to this past week, I think Tennessee was essentially sitting pretty with 1 loss.
Yeah.
And if Georgia had lost to LSU in the title, then that was blown up. So now that that's gone, I don't know if there's any sort of mental games going on. I mean, look, Georgia's not going to have a slip up the way Tennessee did, right? They host Georgia Tech, and then they're going to be 15-point favorites, if not more, against LSU in the SEC championship. So I think from my side, like, I think this is pretty much a done deal. It's one team.
Yeah.
Is there, you guys both agree 100% if LSU wins the SEC with 2 losses, they're bumping somebody out?
Correct.
You got to put them in. You got to put them in.
There's no way one can walk around with the SEC championship belt and be out on the sidewalk. They will get into this exclusive.
So who gets bumped out?
Now that's the question. And
it'd be Clemson, right? It would have to be.
Clemson would be out. You're talking LSU goes in, Georgia goes in, Big Ten champ is in.
Yeah.
Undefeated TCU.
Or, yes, an undefeated TCU also bumps out USC. And Clemson.
So USC and Clemson.
TCU would if they hold serve, they have their seat locked. Because they have that special thing that the other 2 coastal conferences don't have, which is an undefeated conference champ. They can hold guys out if they win. They lose, they're going to be the first one to get jumped out.
Sure.
Truly. And can I say one quick thing on the quarterbacks of this game? The game is so, I hate to say Shakespearean, but all year we watched the story of Hendon Hooker. Rise, roll, roll. They have a seat for him in New York, and I hope he still keeps his seat in New York.
Right.
Really, truly. He'll miss, next week's game, and that's it. He still has a whole body of work. But we watched this whole, just incredible saga with Hendon Hooker. It lands at South Carolina at the same time. Look what comes launching out of there on the same field, same night. Rattler's redemption. Same field, same game.
Yeah.
Spencer Rattler, as a country, we watched him in the QB1 show and all that. We worked with him in Elite 11. Then he gets to Oklahoma. We know all that happened at Oklahoma. Waiting in the wings, finally gets his turn. When he finally steps out there to start, the most megawatt quarterback in college football, who's still green, is sitting behind you, and Caleb Williams. You go through all that. They boo you in your own home student section. You make peace. You transfer. You really can't get it going in South Carolina on a national level. You have some good wins. But damn, if one of the biggest games of your life doesn't happen in one of the biggest home games South Carolina's had. Greg, run his statistics back again from that game. It's just worth hearing it again.
Oh, 100% it is. Let me get them just to make sure. I know it was 6 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Let me pull the yards. Hold on. We've got 438 yards,
438,
30 completions on 37 attempts. I mean,
that's 2K numbers.
I know. Here's what I would say. I'm going to cobble it all together and just say between Bo Nix, Spencer Rattler, and Hendon Hooker.
Yep. Redemption. All of them.
Change can be good.
Yes.
Change can be good.
Yes.
Yeah, we're seeing the positive side of this whole transfer era that we've entered in collegiate sports. And sometimes the narrative goes the other way, right? Like anytime the guy doesn't transfer and sticks it out, there's a lot of praise when it works like that, but it's not always necessarily a bad thing.
And all three bested the programs they left.
Right.
Yeah.
Rattler, every time he looks up to see what Oklahoma's done, they either got blown out, took an L, or just squeaked past somebody. He has more wins than Oklahoma. Bo Nix, he got off of a ship that is now underwater, and they will be under new management here. Could be tonight. And Hendon Hooker could not find his way on or solidify his way on the Virginia Tech starting offense, which now, 3-4 wins? I'll take my bag and my little desk. They pack your box up. I'll take my cardboard box. I'll go to Tennessee, and now I'm slaying not only the Roman army. I'm going down and get those Bayou Bengals. I'm putting myself in position to go to New York. All three found not just new life, Michael Greg, but I'm talking life better than what it would have been when they got told no. And again, sometimes when God closes the door, he opens up a giant sliding wall of glass for you. I mean, just really, truly. God bless the portal. Okay, I give it back.
So, Felder, I feel like we need to at least hit quickly on some X's and O's in this game because sadly, with the way just college football is covered these days, it's so playoff driven. It's so who's still in it. And I think it's a little sad that this is the way Tennessee's season ends because they've been such a narrative driver for the whole sport for me. I think at their best this year, this was the most fun football team to watch in college football. It's a little bit of a shame that they're not going to be there, quite frankly, from my end. But for the last time, if this is the last time we're truly breaking down Tennessee for the remainder of this season, what was South Carolina able to do in this game, and what were they able to find that other teams have not been able to exploit this season against the Vols?
They lined up like Tennessee, and if you go back and look, you'll see that they look like speed and space as well, but then they attacked the middle, and they were running double digs, they were running levels, and Tennessee was so worried about the top, the periphery, that they had guys. This is one of the things that I think about all the time. And Whit, you correct me if I'm wrong, but what I saw in that game was a lot of digs, a lot of slants, a lot of skinnies. And what they did was get guys wide. And then once you get a DB on your high side, that DB's not between you and the quarterback.
You break it in.
That's an easier throw. It's an easier throw when the DB's not in between. If it's quarterback, wide receiver, DB, that's an easier throw than quarterback, DB, wide receiver. And because they were doing that, they did a lot of it. The touchdown that my man had, just catches a quick slant or catches a quick in, and then he just scoots in between everybody, bad tackling, and now we got a touchdown. Tennessee's hasn't been known for tackling all year.
Which got him, and it really hit him.
Yeah.
The other couple things they did real well, Felder, 3rd down, 8 out of 11.
Mm-hmm.
8 out of 11. There wasn't even a punt in the game, I don't think, until the 3rd quarter.
Right.
8 out of 11 on 3rd downs, which you got to take your hat off to that South Carolina offensive staff, staying ahead of the chains.
Yep.
They ran for 153 yards, so they still stayed true to that. 153 yards is some solid work against that Tennessee front seven.
Yeah.
But passing-wise, Felder's right. Not only were they still throwing efficiently, they weren't really dinking and dunking. And when they were playing it short, receivers were breaking the first tackle. 12 yards per pass play.
Yeah.
You're getting nearly a first down every time you call something. And Michael's right. Greg, when they do widen that box out with the formation, you drag those linebackers out and you scoot those safeties back and they just start carving up. The deal that has to now take place, timing and accuracy on your quarterback.
Which is what Rattler is good at.
Which he's very good at. He's very good at. For those of you at home who's like, what is Spencer Rattler's game? He is closer to a Garoppolo,
yes,
or a Kirk Cousins. Like, and again, those two make 9 figures, and they're bona fide starters.
Lincoln Riley wasn't lying when he said that Spencer Rattler's the best thrower of the football that he's coached. This guy can hit his spots.
Yep.
He just needs to know where the spots are. And on Saturday night, he knew where the spots were.
Yep. Remember those old Atlanta Braves pitchers, Glavine, Smoltz, Maddox. None of those guys like blew you over with the ball. They just paint corners. They were surgical.
Yeah.
They understood your tendencies better than you could pick up theirs.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden they got you out here fishing, out. You're out. They're not the big behemoth 106 mile an hour guy, 102 mile an hour
right.
guy.
They're not Randy Johnson.
They're not. And that's Rattler. Fastballs come in at 90, 91, but you're out here fishing for it. And he really put it together. But that's 8 out of 11 on 3rd down.
Unbelievable.
For a full game. Unbelievable.